This second workflow for converting SOLIDWORKS Maker version files to a neutral file format, such as a step file, that I can now or later use to import into an earlier version of SOLIDWORKS or a commercial or academic or student version, assumes that I've already uninstalled my Maker version of SOLIDWORKS. So, unlike in Workflow 1 video, I can't just open my assembly and save it off as a step file. While my Maker subscription is still active, even though I have uninstalled SOLIDWORKS Connected Maker version, I still have access to the browser-based CAD apps, such as xDesign or Xshape. Well, in this case, I'm going to use xDesign to serve as my import-export engine. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to import a file into xDesign. And as you can see from the import dialog from the file format list, I can import SOLIDWORKS parts, CATIA parts, SOLIDWORKS assemblies, if they're on my 3D drive. But in this case, if I switch over to a file on the disk, so I want to pull directly from my local hard drive, you'll notice that I do have SOLIDWORKS parts listed, but I don't explicitly have SOLIDWORKS assemblies listed. However, I do have assemblies listed generically in the form of zip files. And if I select that, you'll see this note that I can import SOLIDWORKS, CATIA, Solid Edge, or Inventor assemblies. I just need to use Pack and Go or another compression utilities to create a zip file with the root name of the assembly. So that's what I'm going to do. Here in File Explorer, I've already browsed to the folder where I have my Maker version file stored. And as you can see, the list of files here. The Maker Toolbox Workstation Assembly is my top assembly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose to send this to a compressed folder or a zipped folder. I'm only selecting the topmost assembly file. I'm not selecting everything at the moment. And the reason for that is I want the zip file to have the exact same name as the top assembly. If I just shift select everything, it's going to take the name of the very first file in the list there. Okay, so again, I've got my zip folder or my zip file. I'm going to right click and I'm going to open it in a new window here. Okay, so there's my workstation assembly zip, and it contains my workstation assembly.sldasm file. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and shift select all the other files in the folder, and I'm just going to drag and drop them here into this zip folder. Add them to the zip file itself there. Alrighty. So now I can toggle back over here to my browser window where I've got my xDesign session running. So for file on disk, I've selected assembly. I'm going to go ahead and choose the file that I'm looking for. And there it is. Maker Toolbox Workstation Assembly Zip. I'm going to go ahead, select Open, and you'll see that it's uploading the zip file. And this is why I'm using a somewhat small assembly example for this workflow video, so they won't take forever and ever to process an assembly with 200, 500, 20,000 components. All right, so it's gone ahead, it's uploaded it, and now I'm going to go ahead and select import. It's creating the new component now. It's importing the model. And in just a few moments, we should have our Toolbox Workstation assembly on the screen. And there it is. I'm going to get my toolbox, the tool chest, the monitor and mouse and stuff, and the splash guard. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and save this. And so now this exists as an imported assembly on the 3D Experience platform. And so I don't have my Maker version of SOLIDWORKS anymore, but I was still able to transfer the models to the cloud platform. And now I'm going to export them in, oops, not import, I want to export them, and that's found by clicking the small black arrow on the Save As icon. You'll see I have a Save As and I have an export menu item. I'm going to go ahead and pick Export. I'm going to go ahead and pick File on Disk. I'm going to pick my format here. In this case, Step 214. And I've got I can change the file name if I want or not, but in this case I'm creating a step file. I'll go ahead and export it. And again, it's creating the step file, and it's also downloading it. You can go ahead and visit that folder there. You can see, as you can see, I've practiced this at least once before. So again, there's my step folder, and I'm going to go ahead and just make things easier. I'm going to go ahead and cut this here, and instead I'm going to browse to my desktop where I've got my demo, and I'm going to drop it here into my non-maker version demo folder here. So I'll go ahead and I will paste that in place there. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to bring up my commercial license of SOLIDWORKS. And much like I did in Workflow 1, I'm coming to File and Open. I'm going to select my step folder, and again, I will take a look at the import options that are in place. Once again, I'm not using 3D Interconnect's import engine. I'm using the traditional import engine. And I want to import multiple bodies as parts here. I'll say OK. I'll say open. And just like we saw in the Workflow 1 video, it's going to be creating these documents, these files on the hard drive while it imports everything. It's parsing through the various bodies, creating a model file for each one. And much like we saw in Workflow Video 1, there is my imported Toolbox workstation assembly. And if I open, for example, the splash shield here, and I'm not going to go for feature recognition right now, but there is my splash shield model. Close that. And I probably should have saved everything beforehand. Again, if we look at the folder, you can see that my various models are created here. All right, we'll go ahead and save that. And so, much like in Workflow 1 video, I've now exported my Maker version files into the step file neutral file format so that they can be imported into any commercial, any academic, any student version of SOLIDWORKS with no problem whatsoever. Thanks for watching.